Well, thanks for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. I'm so excited to be rejoined by Quadre Stuckey. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm glad to be here. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
Of course, of course. We've got a lot to talk about. He's obviously brought some stuff to show us today. But give me an update on what you've been doing for the last couple months.
Well, I mean, life's been amazing. I've been doing my shows. I published a new book. I have new artwork. I also got engaged recently too, so that's new. That's exciting. And you know, I'm just getting ready for what 2024 has to bring and offer. So I'm excited for that too.
And one thing I know about you is you do a ton of research.
Yes.
So that took a lot to go into this book, huh?
Yes, it is. So this is my new book right here, Gullah Paintings 3. So inside the actual book, it's an art educational book for children. In the book, I actually talk about the history of Gullah. I also talk about, you know, the seafood culture, where we do a lot of shrimping, a lot of red rice, a lot of okra. I talk about a lot of the superstitions, like the bottle trees, the boo-hag, the haint blues. And I talk about the artwork, because a lot of people love my artwork. So I talk about the artwork and then the spirituality and the connections we have to Barbados and our architecture. So this is a very good book to add to your collection if you don't have a book collection. This is a good piece to start with a book collection.
So for people who may not know who you are,
Yes.
the very few people out there,
Yes.
talk to me about your art, how you got into art, and where you draw inspiration from.
So my art is based upon my culture, Gullah Geechee culture. And what Gullah Geechee culture is pretty much the enslaved Africans that were brought over from different parts of West Africa, the Ivory Coast and Gold Coast. They were isolated on sea islands like through the Carolinas and, you know, like Myrtle Beach, area where we're at now. And pretty much it's just us staying closest to our West African heritage. So that's why I draw a lot of my inspiration from when it comes to like my paintings. I like to use a lot of bright, bold, tropical colors, because when you look at the work, I want you to feel excited. I want you to feel happy. I want you to feel good about yourself. And you know, I do a lot of paintings on women because women played a big role in my life. Like, you know, my mother, my grandmother, and my aunts. So that's like where a lot of my inspiration comes from. Also just that everyday low country lifestyle, like being by the beach, fishing, shrimping, you know, just enjoying the scenery with a loved one. So that's where it comes from.
Okay. So when you were finding inspiration for your book, doing the research, was there anything that you've learned along the way that kind of shocked you or surprised you a bit?
Yeah, so there was certain things that I didn't know about certain superstitions. So for example, like we have something called like the boo-hag that rides you at night when you're asleep and you can't move. So really scientifically it's called when you sit there and you can't move but you're awake. Yeah, sleep paralysis.
It's happened to me before. But
our name for it is boo-hag. So that's just kind of like the translation when it comes to our culture to scientifically they're calling it sleep paralysis. So that was something, you know, that kind of stuck out to me, showing how close those things kind of, you know, combine and come together.
I've been visited by that before.
Ooh,
it's pretty scary.
It is. You're up, you can't move. It's like you're in a scary movie, a horror flick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about the bottle trees. I don't know the superstition behind that.
So what you put blue bottle trees in your yard. The reason why is it sucks in the evil spirit. So let's say like if a hag tries to come and get you, instead of getting into the house, you know, to put you in that paralysis, it'll actually go into the blue bottle tree and then it gets locked in there, and then when the sunlight comes out in the daytime, it'll actually burn up in the sun. And then sometimes, like, people say they hear superstition of, like, it whistling outside. That's really like the wind hitting the bottle at a certain angle, and it's sounding like the boo-hag was captured inside of it.
Spooky.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, we have to talk about sweetgrass baskets, of course.
Definitely.
Huge, huge, huge.
Yes.
All across the Low Country and here in the Grand Strand.
Always, yes. So I had to bring in one of sweetgrass
Beautiful.
baskets. Yes.
Beautiful.
So what the sweetgrass basket actually consists of is sweetgrass, bulrush, pine needle, and then it's an old West African sewing tradition that we still carry today. And if you can notice, each sweetgrass has its own specific pattern and design on it. And then it was used traditionally to transport rice, fruits, vegetables, and sometimes sewn tight enough it could transport and hold water.
Because they're very strong.